40 million Americans rely on 3 concrete canals. Built between the 1930s and 90s, they are cracking and corroding. But the next Southwest water crisis may not start with an empty reservoir. It may start on a Tuesday when a pump seizes, a siphon ruptures, or the ground shifts 13 feet. The water exists on paper. It just stops moving. For decades, we've focused on volume, Lake Mead's bathtub rings and shrinking snowpacks. But the more immediate danger is physical fragility. Legal water rights cannot deliver a gallon if a critical node breaks. Phoenix, Los Angeles, and the Imperial Valley do not receive Colorado River water by gravity and good luck. Every drop moves through concrete, steel, siphons, and machines that can fail suddenly. 3 arteries sustain a $1.4 trillion economy. The 336-mile Central Arizona project, lifting water 2,900 vertical feet. The 242-mile Colorado River Aqueduct, and the 80-mile All-American Canal. Arizona depends on the CAP for 40% of its gross product, supporting 1.6 million jobs. A system this large looks stable until one mechanical or buried link fails. The system was built on a hydrological mistake. In 1922, the Colorado River Compact divided the river based on an unusually wet period, allocating 16.5 million acre-feet annually. Hydrologist Eugene Clyde LaRue reconstructed flows back to 1895 and warned that reliable natural flow was closer to 15.2 million acre-feet. But he was ignored. Tree rings prove the average is closer to 13.5 to 14 million, while recent droughts have pushed inflows to just 12 million. Lower river evaporation swallows another 1.3 million acre-feet annually. For decades, a massive reservoir system capable of holding 60 million acre-feet hid this structural error. But by the summer of 2022, combined storage at Lake Mead and Lake Powell fell to just 27% of capacity. The buffer is gone, exposing the aging machinery. Start with the Central Arizona project. The Mark Wilmer pumping plant lifts water 824 feet into the 7-mile Buckskin Mountain Tunnel using 6 66,000 horsepower pumps. This station is a single point of failure. Significant downtime halts flow to 80% of Arizona's population. Sudden power loss creates reflection waves that can overtop canal embankments. Below the surface, a structural time bomb is ticking. In the 1970s and 80s, the Bureau installed 21-foot diameter siphons using pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe from Interpace. Defective manufacturing caused high-strength pre-stressing wires to snap invisibly underground. In 1999, a 96-inch pipe ruptured catastrophically in Tucson, releasing 38 million gallons and triggering a 2-decade, $2.3 billion battle to post-tension and replace failing siphons. California's main vulnerability runs through earthquake country. The Colorado River Aqueduct crosses the San Andreas and San Jacinto faults. A shift along the Casa Loma fault could displace the aqueduct by 13 feet, severing water for millions of Southern Californians. A magnitude 7.8 quake could collapse the Whitewater Tunnel, requiring an entirely new bypass tunnel that would cut deliveries for 6 months. MWD spent $37 million retrofitting the Casa Loma siphon with ductile iron pipes that absorb 13 feet of movement, and built Diamond Valley Lake for 6 months of backup. Yet 24 locations remain vulnerable to heavy equipment loading above aging siphons. Meanwhile, the California aqueduct faces land subsidence. Groundwater pumping has caused clay aquifers to compact permanently, sinking parts of the San Joaquin Valley by up to 28 feet, buckling canal panels, and choking capacity by 23%. If unchecked, deliveries could drop 87% by 2043, causing up to $14.5 billion in annual losses and eliminating 67,000 agricultural jobs. Beyond engineering, these canals carry our food system. The All-American Canal delivers 3.1 million acre-feet annually, growing half of America's winter lettuce. Yuma County agriculture contributes $4.4 billion, producing 90% of winter leafy greens. Its vegetable location quotient is 58, meaning the industry is 58 times more concentrated there than the national average. Agriculture consumes 86% of Western water. A summer canal failure triggers total crop failure in days as plants pass their permanent wilting point. Westland's water district drives $3.5 billion in activity, supplying 75% of the leafy greens market. Processing plants feel the shock immediately. Poultry plants require 7.6 million liters daily, and downtime costs $30,000 an hour. A shutdown backlogs feedlots, crashes cattle prices, and forces dairy co-ops to dump milk, hurting every farmer in the system. The insurance system is not built to absorb this. In 2008, a rodent breach at the Earthen Truckee Canal in Nevada flooded 590 homes, causing $50 million in damage. After 8 years of litigation, homeowners recovered just a third of their losses. Federal crop insurance has its own gap. It excluded claims when the Goshen/Gering-Fort Laramie Tunnel collapsed in 2019, cutting water to 107,000 acres because infrastructure neglect is not a natural disaster. Business interruption insurance fails too, triggering only for direct on-site damage. CAP carries captive insurance of just $2 million, barely covering the first hour of a major failure. Meanwhile, reinsurance giants estimate that compounding infrastructure failures could drive $12.5 trillion in global economic losses by 2050. The repair backlog is enormous. The Department of the Interior faces a $35.4 billion deferred maintenance backlog, yet federal funding for extraordinary maintenance is just $74.8 million. IID warns a third of its infrastructure will exceed its lifespan in 15 years, while MWD faces over $30 billion in planned project costs. The stakes now reach national security. TSMC is investing up to $165 billion in 6 Phoenix semiconductor fabs. Every single one depends entirely on water from the cap. Modeling shows sustained cap cuts through 2060 could wipe out $2.7 trillion and 7 million job years. Arizona's $154 million SRPCAP facility adds redundancy, but banked groundwater is useless if local wells cannot distribute it. Meanwhile, political shifts freeze drought funding, disrupting capital planning when we need stability. Other disasters show the cost of ignoring maintenance. Oroville Dam's 2017 crisis cost $1.1 billion in repairs after structural flaws forced 200,000 evacuations. The Jones Tract levee failed on a sunny day in 2004, costing $90 million. In 2021, Winter Storm Uri knocked out Texas Power, shutting down water treatment and leaving millions dry, proving the dangerous circular dependency between energy and water. The hard truth is this: the Southwest might not run out of water first. It might lose the physical ability to move it. Deferred maintenance quadruples future costs, and emergency repairs cost 4.8 times more than planned work. Yet maintenance is invisible. It produces no headlines and zero political capital, so politicians delay repairs. But concrete doesn't care about election cycles. A $1.4 trillion economy, semiconductor supply chains, and 40 million people depend on 3 concrete canals. The Southwest spent decades asking if there is enough water. It must now ask if the system can deliver it. If these choke points fail, the crisis breaks suddenly, and we are profoundly unprepared.